Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
And today we are wrapping up season 5 of Seeking Sister Wife. This is episode 13, Seeking Our Forever.
Wow. Didn't think we'd ever get here.
Yeah.
There were certainly weeks.
Well,
I didn't know if I would make it.
And forever is an interesting word to use here, since, in a strange twist of fate.
Nobody has new relation. Nobody has anything.
No,
right?
Well, except for Yary is still dating Justin and Becky. Like, we thought that was done. We called it last week. We were like, well, they're done. They're over. I mean, we really had it all wrong.
Yeah, we really did.
So, God. Okay, this is an episode. It's quite an episode. Okay, let's just start with them.
Okay, with the Ryans.
When we left the Ryans last week, they were at another Mexican restaurant, Justin and Yary, and we thought she was breaking up with him because she said, I want my man just for me. I'm not interested in sharing a man. I'm not interested in sharing you with Becky. And, she's always going to be your priority and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was it.
Yeah, I got that vibe too. I mean, Justin basically left saying, well, I just need a warm body. At this point.
Yeah. We just want to find anybody.
Anybody willing to accept this lifestyle with us and do this with us. So if it's not Yary, then let's just keep going. Yeah. And I thought she kind of decided, like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And you know what? We learned that it's been months. He said, did you hear him say, we've been dating a couple of months? I'm like, what? A couple of months?
We thought it was like a week.
Yes.
The way that it was just
the way they were talking.
These quick succession of Mexican restaurant dates.
Yeah. But maybe that now makes a little bit more sense, right? About why she's upset. Because maybe it takes a long time. Maybe he's like, okay, well, I can't really fit you in for another 2 weeks.
Right.
And she's like, well, I'd like to be with someone who has time like tomorrow.
More time for me. Yeah. Yeah, so this episode starts out with him coming home after this date that we thought was the end. And, he tells Becky, kind of like what Yary said, although he described Yary as being conflicted. And it's like, I don't know if I would describe it that way. She seems pretty clear. But maybe not, because, at least at the end of this taping or whatever, they're still dating.
Well, yeah. And also, she keeps showing up. I mean, again, if it was all the same week, you could see how she might, get caught up in this thing and they're paying her or whatever. But if it's been months and months, then I would say she's conflicted, right?
Yeah.
If
she's after a few months, she knows what they're all about, at this point, and she's still conflicted. So, Becky, she's tough. She's hanging in there. She's like, well, she didn't seem that discouraged. It's sort of like, well, did she say this or did she say that? She's trying to parse it all out. And I forget what else that she really said about it. Justin seemed kind of upset.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what? My 2 cents. I think they're both still in love with Stephanie. Do you know what I mean? They just keep talking. They keep talking about Stephanie, like Stephanie. And I think that that's the problem is they've never really allowed themselves to kind of just get over Stephanie, like give themselves you loved her. It sounds like you both really liked her and you thought this was going to be different. I don't know the details of the relationship, but they both seem very much in love with Stephanie. And then the other thing that made me laugh is I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking at Yary going, there's a beautiful woman. God damn it, is this a man's world? That Justin, that you're holding out for like Justin. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're willing to hang in there and deal with this Becky over here. Yeah, for this guy?
For Justin.
I know.
And you're kind of like, God, this is a man's world. It is a man's world. If Justin is the hottest ticket in town, that you can't possibly say, no, this isn't going to work for me. Goodbye.
Right. Like, God, Yary, have higher standards.
But maybe Yary has been on one bad date after another. Maybe Yari's kind of like,
maybe
I just can't go on another bad date. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, God damn it might just be a man's world over there, wherever they are. It's like, my God, maybe she's just like, I've not met anybody. Maybe she really connects with him. And she's like, I haven't met anybody that I connect with like this. And I like, and he's the closest thing, which would be, wow.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. So anyway, they show at the end, they're at the beach on a beach vacation. I don't know if this is in Florida or, she got to go on
the Florida trip, right? Well, and they both say they both say, well, if we find someone else, then we're going to start pursuing that. Basically like, hey, Yary wants to keep dating us and she knows the score, so let's keep dating her. But if we meet someone else, we have no problems dumping old Yary over here who's been trying to get to know us. And there's a little bit of this like, okay,
would they dump
what
her,
is up with it? I don't know.
They would probably just keep saying, okay, well, we'll string you along as long as you're willing to do this. And maybe you'll, finally come around. And now I'm realizing these people might be on next season because if they're still dating Yary and then they start seeking another, oh boy, that could be an interesting story.
Yes, it would be, but I don't know if I can't see these people. I don't know if I can handle these people any longer. I really can't.
I know.
They really, really, I don't know what the word is for it. It's like, I want to keep saying upset me, but it's not so much upset me. I don't think they know about consent. Do you know what I mean? I think they have no boundaries.
No,
they don't.
They don't.
And I think that they don't think about that at all. I just don't think they think about other people.
No, but there's God, what a turn of events.
You're still wrapping your brain around all this. Oh my God.
I really, really am. I thought we were done with them. I didn't think we'd be on, tonight.
Yeah. Well, but listen, Yary's still on the fence. Listen, Yary's she's not 100%.
It's not locked down.
Yeah.
No. She wanted to go to Florida,
She wants to, you know what? Maybe she's like, I want some nice meals. I want someone to pay attention to me. And okay, I don't know.
I mean, look, they paid for Stephanie's gym membership for the year. And, they obviously were used to, having to pay for stuff to lure people in. So she's like, I'll let this guy take me out to dinner and take me to Florida and buy me stuff, sure. I'm a single mom.
Yeah. Ay.
Funny.
Gosh.
All
okay,
right.
Well, that was them.
That was that. Short and sweet, but like chock full of surprises.
Yeah.
So next, let's go to the Davis household. So now Nick asked Danielle to stay behind in the hot tub after everyone else got out. He wanted to check with her for the 17th time, to see how she's feeling. And now, again, this was another thing where the whole Danielle storyline arc thing, like, all came together in this episode. And it's basically, it should have been called Danielle Finds Her Voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Because every single episode, she's like, well, I have a hard time telling people how I really feel. I'm not really comfortable with this. And so finally she just came out, and even though in the hot tub, she was still being like, well, I don't know. And, but then by the end of the episode, she come full circle and she stuck up for herself. And she said, I am not cool with this because I'm not feeling it with Jasmine. And yeah, because she is not feeling it with having to marry someone that she said, I'm not head over heels for her. And yes, you're absolutely right. Good for you, Danielle. I mean, that's great. But I don't know, is that real or was that just her story arc? And they sat down. So much of their stuff to me seems calculated. Like they sort of planned this all this way.
Yeah, I know. Well, it was interesting because when they were in the hot tub together, Nick said that same line to her where, he asks, how are you doing for the 50th time, right? She says, I'm fine. And then he says that thing that April said to her too, which is, well, we thought you were okay, but last time, but then you left, like that kind of prodding, guilting thing. And I'm like, okay, people, maybe this is why she doesn't feel like she can talk to you. Because every time you guilt her, every time this comes up. But then he does then in the next sentence, she starts talking about Jasmine and Nick stops her and he's like, no. We're not talking about you, Jasmine. We're talking about you. How do you feel? And I was like, okay, that's a better question. Look at you go, Nick. But what I'm wondering is, do you guys ever talk about these things off camera? Do you know what I mean? Is this happening at all? Are you communicating this way off camera or is it all for show?
Yeah.
Because these are the only times you're talking about this. And if you're guilting her and then, kind of being nice to her in the same 2 minutes conversation, then that's a little confusing for Danielle. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. I definitely think that her leaving was real. I don't think that was fake. I think she probably felt like no one's listening to me. And maybe it was because she wasn't articulating it. And maybe she was. But clearly she felt uncomfortable about having to marry someone like so quickly after she's only been in this family for like a year or so, a little over a year. And I think she did that for attention to show like, I'm serious, I'm very uncomfortable. And then maybe they got it, but I don't know how much she ever spoke up for herself.
Yeah.
Hard to know, but
yeah.
She finds her voice.
She does. She does find her voice. But then the producers again do her dirty again, like the same. Her getting out of the hot tub. I mean, like seriously, we needed to see that again. Why?
We did not need to see that. And Nick is molesting her, and the whole time, and it's just like you could have just cut it off.
Yeah.
While they're both still in the hot tub, you don't have to show her like sitting on top of
we know they got out of the hot tub in order to get to the bed. We're with you. We can follow the story.
We don't need this piece of information. They really did her dirty.
Yeah.
With those shots. I'd be pissed.
Me too.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So they get their pajamas on.
Those pajamas are hilarious. Everybody in their varying pajamas.
Yeah.
With the camera crew.
Right. And they all get into the bed, and
yeah, Nick looks like a kid on Christmas morning.
he really does.
Nick is so
smiling.
He is smiling like a little kid. Like, did you see him like kissing everybody? Kiss Danielle, and then like everybody gets a kiss from Nick. I go from in to out, inside the bed to the outer parts of the bed. You know, I was just like, okay, is this every night we're doing this? Okay, but Nick was just beside himself with just excitement.
He was, and actually, like. Yeah, so then it's like lights out and you're left wondering, okay, well, now what's happening?
If I was in that camera crew, I would just be running. I'd be like, okay, I gotta go. Okay. I gotta go.
See ya.
I gotta go.
I don't want to see anymore. Yeah, so who knows? What do you think? Do you think she was hanky-panky?
No, I really don't think there was. No, I don't think so.
Do you think this is even the first time Jasmine has spent the night there in light of, you know, what we talked about on the last episode with these pictures resurfacing of her and them in 2021?
No, I do not. I don't think that Jasmine's ever spent the night there in the big bed, because I think the big bed is relatively new, right?
Right.
So I don't think she's ever done that. I get the sense that maybe like they've met before and there's been some heavy flirting and maybe there's been some fooling around in some way, but nothing ever serious. Because I think that's why Danielle was always a little bit like, because I think honestly, the person who's most invested in Jasmine is Nick. I think Nick has Nick likes her. And I think, and I bet you anything, they were looking for people and he's like, you know what? Hey, remember that Jasmine?
Yeah.
You know, this has been in the back of his mind for a while.
Yeah. Like they're obviously in this poly community, you know, meeting people online and getting together. And that's what those pictures were, them meeting up and whatever. But yeah, she might have just been someone who they just knew from that community. And he liked her and knew that they needed to find someone to continue on this show.
Yeah.
So.
But Jasmine seemed to change. Like something happened in that hot tub. Something happened in that hot tub that I don't know, because it seems like Jasmine was being her usual Jasmine self of, hey, the bluest blue I've ever seen. And, paganism and all that other kind of stuff up until midway through the hot tub. And then she just seemed to be like very shut down. And then she seemed shut down in the bed. And then she seemed shut down the next day.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened?
I think it all sunk in, like what was happening. And she was just like, oh, wait a minute, It kind of seemed like a fun idea in the beginning and, going on a date with Nick, filming that kind of stuff. But now you're at their house, you're in the hot tub, you're about to go get in bed with them and sleep over. So, yeah, I think the reality just hit her. But, it was so hilarious, like watching her try to slither out of that bed. That's like my worst nightmare. I would, first of all, I mean, I'm older than Jasmine, but I get up at least once a night to have to go to the bathroom. It's like what do? You're kind of trapped there. And then she wakes up and like someone is snoring. I hear snoring. And, she's trapped there and the only way out was like through the covers.
Yes, I know. And it's all hot and it's like, and they're below ground because it's a basement. It's just the whole thing. Nothing about that big bed seems appealing to me at all.
No.
At all. And that was one of the things that Jasmine said. She said it was nice to be sleeping with other people, with other bodies around her. And I was like, God, really? Ugh.
I love sleeping alone.
Yeah, me too. I love it when my husband leaves town and I don't have to oh
my gosh.
I don't have to listen to his snoring. Where was it? She said something like that. It was so weird. It was just like, I just did like not having to sleep alone. Liked having other people around when I sleep.
I think, very much like, it's a little bit different, but like Danielle Merrifield, I swear a lot of these people, I feel like they get into this because they just want a friend.
Yeah.
They want other adults around. They want help. They want a friend. And I kind of feel, and she said a couple times that she really wanted to have more support with her son and a stable home for him.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe she's just in a bad situation wherever she's living. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for her now.
Yeah.
Because, I think she got in too deep and didn't work out. But
I don't know. But something switched. But she got up, and then Danielle was already awake.
Yeah,
she was
Danielle
already in the kitchen.
Was already in the kitchen making coffee.
And so it was like, okay, good. Like, let's talk. If this is the person I'm going to marry, maybe we should chit chat. And then they seemed to be getting along-ish. But again, it seemed like just Jasmine was so different. So different.
Yeah, her energy, I mean, granted, she just woke up, but like her energy was low, and Danielle was all perked up and ready to talk. And and Danielle said that Jasmine is acting disinterested, and that's true.
Yeah.
She was like, Danielle was trying to talk to her about a serious topic, and Jasmine was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, everything's fine. So that I think that's what really made Danielle realize, like, I got to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say something, because this is not good. And then, I love this part where everyone else comes down, and little baby Vera had her little satin cap on.
Oh, she looks so cute.
To protect her hair. So cute.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, what I wonder? I wonder if Jasmine doesn't really like Nick. Like, I'm wondering if that's the big issue for her. Like, that maybe she's just not too into Nick, and that he's maybe working it pretty hard with her, and she's just like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure. I wish.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Go on Reddit.
Us,
I'm sure she's
please.
probably somewhere. Is she not interviewing people? I mean, these people all seem to go on podcasts and tell us what they really think. So I would love to know what Jasmine's really thinking right now.
I know. I have to research that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So, and then this was annoying how when she's leaving, she said something like, thanks for the bubble bath. She keeps calling the hot tub a bubble bath, which that's just annoys me. But I don't know why.
Well, yeah, but then Jasmine got into this whole thing about like, okay, well, then I'll meet with everybody individually, and then I'm going to do this. And it's like, okay.
Well, I think she just had to say something.
Yeah.
This is her exit interview. And so she's like, well, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody individually, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think at that point she was checked out. But,
she's running down the block to get away from these people.
So then I don't know how much time passes, but anyway, they have a little sit down over takeout. And I don't know, what is Nick wearing, and why is he dressed like this? Was
he just home for the day? He was home
He was dressing for the important job of being a stay-at-home dad, which is, is great. But one of the perks of being a stay-at-home dad is you don't need to put on a suit.
Yes, yes.
You can just wear whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I would embrace that.
Yeah. He just does this for the cameras. He is not wearing that every day. He just likes to
dress up. No, he just likes to dress up and, thinks he looks cool. But yeah, he had some red satin shirt and a black vest, and he had this little moon rock.
Oh God, the necklace. Yes. Can't stand that thing. Yes.
So now they have to, decide what they're going to do. Are they going to go forward and with Jasmine? And Danielle says, "No, I'm not feeling this.
Mm-hmm.
Not into it. Good for you, Danielle.
Finally.
And I'm sure all of this is rehearsed or whatever, but it did feel genuine to me that all of them felt, well, we can't do this if Danielle's not 100% on board. I mean, they seem to really genuinely love her. And
well, yeah, April cried. I mean, that was genuine. I mean, she didn't think she was going to cry, and that came out. So I guess I shouldn't be so hard on April so much. I mean, that she's not the heavy that I thought she was, that she's not there like just to get more and more people to make Nick's life easier, that it, she really does care about everybody, which is nice. I mean, it makes me feel better about Danielle. Makes me feel like, oof, phew. At least, Danielle is in a she's in a safe space.
Someone's looking out for her.
Yeah. So they do care about her. Then Danielle's a great actress. She's very, very good because she showed us. I mean, I really did I saw another deer in the headlights in the beginning of the episode, and then she was radically different by the end. So
yeah, she really was. She found her voice and spoke up, and everyone was like, okay, we support you. Nick was a bit disappointed.
Oh yeah. Nick was he was the one that was very disappointed because I don't think April or Jen, I don't think they cared. I think they could take or leave Jasmine. Really? Don't you think?
Yeah, they didn't seem they seemed very neutral about it. They could take it or leave it. But the way that April phrased it, even, she says, "So, are we going to keep dating Jasmine?" Like, it was just sort of a neutral question. It's like, obviously they're not wowed by her.
Yeah.
They weren't talking like they were wowed by her. They were just like, well, what do you want to do? I guess it's up to Danielle. And then April started talking about how, well, why don't we try, dating a few different people? And I'm like, oh, here she's set for another season here.
Yep.
So now next season, they're going to be dating 2 different people.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. I mean, who else is going to be on the show if it's not for these people?
Well, they have to come back. God, I love this show. I'm sad, actually,
that it's over.
I really am. It is so frigging entertaining, even if half of it's fake.
Yeah. It's more than half. What was the Chiron on them? What was the final thing?
So it said that they're dating a special new woman, and Danielle is cautiously optimistic about her.
Mm-hmm.
So no surprise there. Yeah. So they'll be back.
Okay. Well, that was the Davises. They're going to keep just like the Ryans. They're going to keep seeking. That seems to be everybody's final thing all the time. We're just going to keep seeking.
Yeah,
just keep seeking.
It's required. You have to say you're going to keep seeking.
Yeah, and hope you get asked back for the next season.
Yeah.
So,
well, who's definitely going to be back for the next season?
Oh,
it's our final family, the family who's been really bringing it.
Yeah.
All season long, the Merrifields.
I'm sorry, but can't we just have the Merrifields? Like the Merrifields, their own show. They need their own show.
They do, because I want to delve into the lives of Sam and Samantha, into the lives of her parents.
I want to understand the money and how the money works. I want to know, like, Mariam said something about like 6 generations in this town. Like, I want to understand that. I want to get the lowdown on this family.
I've also heard that Garrick is estranged from his family because they do not agree with his, I don't know if it's that they don't agree with his, with the polygamy thing, or maybe the Christianity thing. Because in this episode, he talked about he used to be a real bad boy.
Oh, yes.
Until he found Christianity. Yeah.
Playboy, gang leader.
Yes, he started a gang.
He started a gang.
Buena Vista, Colorado.
They had decals. They had merch.
The mean streets of Buena Vista.
But what I love about that is you start a gang and you're like, okay, first order of business, merch.
Yeah.
Let's get merchandise.
For our
decals for our trucks, so everyone knows that we're part of this gang.
Yes.
Because that's really what gang members want.
Yeah, they want people like paying very close attention to what they're doing.
Yes, to what they're doing and where they're driving and where they're going and what they're doing and when they're doing it.
Oh, God. Okay, we'll get to that because there's even more there. But
Psych Legal Pop will be back after these messages. Hello, this is Tess Brigham, one half of the podcast Psych Legal Pop. When I'm not podcasting with my sister and analyzing pop culture, I'm a speaker who talks about mental health in the workplace. In today's post-pandemic hybrid working world, mental health matters more than ever. I specialize in empowering organizations to retain their valuable employees. I understand the unique challenges facing young adults in today's world, and I'm here to bridge the gap. So head over to my website, www.tessbrigham.com, to learn more about my speaking services and how I can help your organization reach new heights of success. Let's revolutionize your organization's approach to mental health and employee retention. Visit www.tessbrigham.com to explore how we can collaborate.
Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
But yeah, they okay, I don't know where to start.
It starts with Mariam and Garrick have a stay-in date night. Just the two of them. And ooh, this was good. good. It was. There was a lot of I really was back and forth with the notes and having to pause and body language. I'm like, wait, let me rewind because he was I felt almost a little aggressive.
Yeah.
They sit down and he asks her about the fire and then she says something like, oh, are you comfortable? And then he takes that as some kind of invitation to get right up on her.
Right.
To sit right next to her.
And put his arm around her.
Yeah.
And also right before they sat down, he's saying in an interview, yeah, well, Mariam, she's definitely a curvy, beautiful woman. She's full figured for sure. And I'm like, where is this coming from?
Oh, meaning of his type?
Well, I mean,
she's not full figured, if you ask me.
No, she's just
what does he think full figured
normally
means?
Perfectly proportioned.
Yeah.
I don't know what
she's like an average. She's an average size
shape. Yeah, I mean,
person.
Where did that come from? It almost sounded like a producer asked him, "Well, what do you think of her body?" I mean, literally, someone's asking him, and he's talking about it and. Anyway, that was really odd and creepy. Why are we talking about her body at all? You don't even know her,
Well, she really knows how to doll up. She really knows how to doll herself up.
Some women don't know how to do that.
Like Danielle. Like his wife. My wife.
Yeah. I mean, he's creepy from the beginning.
Oh, God. But
the
then
touching.
Did you see so he tries to put his arm around her, and then I think maybe had her hand there, or did she bat it away almost, or did she find a way to kind of
because he was kind
casually
of I think he was pulling her hair and she sort of reached back because she had a ponytail, and I think it was pulling her ponytail, and then he says, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she's like, "Yeah, my ponytail," and she took that opportunity to he moved his arm and she moved away.
Yeah.
And he's touching her leg, and she's saying in her interview she's just not comfortable with any of this touching or any of this sexual stuff.
Yeah, because it's a little bit if you really think. I mean, granted, she's at their house, and this is a different kind of situation. But if you really think about it, this is their quote unquote first date,
first meeting. Yeah,
the first time you've really even had any kind of conversation. So when you meet someone for a first date or a first conversation, you're not molesting them like this, rubbing them and touching them inappropriate So his familiarity, his like, just, it's almost like he feels like he has this right.
He's entitled because remember when they went to go see Nathalia, and I think it was the first day when they went to that cenote thing. He was rubbing on her that day when she was in her bathing suit. And it's like, again, you just met this person and you are touching her and you feel entitled to be touching her in this way out in public in front of all these people while she's being filmed, and what's she going to do? She's kind of trapped. And so with these Brazilian women, it's very different because somehow with them, I don't know what the dynamic is, but it seems like they don't protest. And then the times that people have protested, and Mariam, and then last season, they sort of kind of dated this woman in California who was American. And she wasn't like, you know what I mean? She did the same thing. She had boundaries, expectations that, look, I just met you. We're just seeing each other for the first time. You're not going to start touching me. So I think he takes advantage, he's taking advantage of these power dynamics.
Oh, for sure.
That exist.
For sure.
Between Brazilian women and American women and him.
Yeah. And then he starts asking her actual questions of like, what is it that you want to do? What do you want to do? And do you want to do something in the beauty industry? Maybe you and I can do something together in the beauty industry. And she's kind of looking at him like, what? Huh?
What?
And he's like, yeah. So Garrick's dream, I didn't know this, was to design women's clothing.
Who knew?
Well, we've seen his jewelry.
We've seen to see his spring collection.
Oh, Lordy. Can you imagine the
women's wear?
You know what it is? It's just a bunch of black tank tops.
It's right. And you style them different ways.
Different ways to style a black.
Yeah.
And then a white tank top. And then, something with like a vagina symbol thing on the chest. And yeah, that's great.
Yeah, a vagina symbol like on the back of the jeans, like the Ed Hardy jeans or something. Yeah. And then this is when he's telling her about how he was a bad boy, how he started a gang and all of that. And
he's a playboy, and he started a gang where people would pay him for protection. Yes. So this is my question. What the name of the gang was? Always Thugs and Crew?
Thugs and Crew.
I thought was it Always or All? It was or was it just Thugs and Crew?
I don't know.
Was it TK or ATK?
All I remember is Crew was spelled with a K. Yeah. That's what made them unique.
But I first thought it was like Always Thugs and Crew. It was almost kind of like a pool cleaning business, like Always Drains and Cleaners. Do you know what I mean? Like Always.
Yeah.
It's just like you're such a dork that you come up with like your gang name is the same name as like somebody's like small business.
Yeah. They saw it on the side of a truck and they were like, oh, that's a good name.
That's a great name.
I mean, what was he, 16, 17? I mean,
yeah.
Who's paying him with what? Their lunch money for protection? Protection from who?
Well, but Mariam, she has got his number. She had his number, and she didn't say it, but basically what she was basically just calling him on his privilege. Basically saying, yeah, well, this is a guy he's the sixth generation in this town.
Right.
Here. Right. This is how he sees everything. This is how he sees his life. And he probably, thought he was a real badass. He probably thought all of these things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And then she started talking about how she could never live there.
Yeah.
That it was this small town. She's not into that. So it's like, oh God, you guys are off to a great start.
Well, there was another conversation too. So she said, sometimes I'll wear, is it what is
hijab?
It? Hijab. Sometimes I'll wear a hijab. And he seemed to be like, oh, okay. And I'm sorry. I know exactly what that man was thinking. I think he was thinking like, what will people think?
Oh, of course.
That's what he was thinking. Like outside of the house, what will people think?
Right.
And then it comes in, she's like, well, I won't wear it inside my house. And then we get this inside the house, but this is who I am. This is part of my part part of
religion,
my culture, everything, right? So the best is that then there's this interview with Garrick, and he's looking at the camera and goes, it seems like Mariam really, really takes this being a Muslim seriously. You're like, no kidding.
Yeah, just the way you take your religion seriously, dumbhead. I mean,
I was flabbergasted. Like you just now put that together just now that this is important to her.
Well,
but again,
he doesn't recognize this as, he doesn't have any respect for her religion.
No, of course not.
He doesn't recognize that. He thinks of Islam and he thinks of terrorists and and people with hijabs. Yeah, we can't be having that. Like then people will know.
Yeah. Oh my God, they'll know that you're a Muslim, or
Yeah, and then he's sort of joking, but not really joking.
No, I don't think
he's going to rip it off of her or go. He's basically saying like, yeah, he's going to take it off of her and say, "Where's my beautiful wife? Like she's not beautiful if she's wearing it."
Mm-hmm. As if being Muslim, as if being Muslim and honoring those traditions isn't beautiful, right? Like,
right.
And again, I think in some ways, I think he thinks he's being funny, and I think he thinks he's joking, but this is who he is, and we learn a little bit more about him from Nathalia, because we've seen these glimpses of Garrick, of maybe who is the real Garrick at times. And I think this is the moment of the real Garrick, who is a very mediocre white male who's entitled and privileged, and he has never had to compromise one iota of anything for anyone. And he cannot possibly, the idea of for 1 second of stopping and thinking about being at least thoughtful with Mariam goes beyond him. All he's thinking about is like, when can I propose to her and when can I get laid? I mean, I swear to God, that's all he's thinking about.
Yeah, although I think he's just doing this to indulge Danielle. Because clearly this is not his type. She's American. She's not going to be submissive. Even we find out later when we'll talk about Nathalia wasn't willing to be submissive either. But he's looking for somebody submissive and who looks a certain way, and
he wants 4 other Danielles with even more submissive and less power and control in their lives, essentially. That's and what younger, he wants. Because Danielle's way too uppity. It's way too uppity with all of her demands, I'm sure. I'm sure.
How old is Mariam?
I don't know. That was my other. I don't remember, but
I was gonna look it up and I forgot.
I feel like she looks a lot older than she is. I want to say she's got to be like late 20s.
Yeah,
late 20s.
Late 20s, 30-ish, maybe the most. Yeah, no. I mean, no. Garrick is looking for complete and total submission. And so he's just humoring Danielle because Danielle made a friend.
Yes.
Danielle genuinely made a friend.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know why Mariam reached out to her or why they decided to take this sister wife route. Why couldn't they just be online friends and visit each other in person? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. Like, why couldn't she just be like, you seem like a super cool person, Danielle. Let's you and I be friends.
Let's just, come visit me and, let's meet in person and we can be friends.
I don't know. Maybe Garrick would be like, well, what are you talking about? You need to be friends with your sisters. Your sister, Nathalia, you should be calling her or whatever. Do you think he's sort of saying, you don't need another friend? If you're going to talk to this person, then she needs to be considered for a wife candidate. You know?
She can't just have a friend on her own.
No.
Yeah, probably. He was probably kind of punishing her a little bit about not trying hard enough with Nathalia, but then they turn on Nathalia eventually.
Oh, yeah.
The two of them, but
well, yeah. So basically the next scene is we see the two of them together. We have this date night, which is miserable. And then next thing it is Mariam's got to go back to Deerfield, Michigan. And she is never coming back to Buena Vista, Colorado.
She says she's going to come back, maybe when the baby's born, but no, I doubt they've seen her since.
Yeah.
But Garrick he seemed like he was sad. Maybe that was just more acting. I don't know with these people.
I don't know. I think Garrick was like, oh, I thought I was going to get laid this weekend. Oh, God damn it. Do you know what I mean? I think he thought like, oh, this could be it. I mean, I think when he sat down with his frosted mug of root beer for his date with Mariam, I think he really thought like, hey, this could happen. Hey, I was out in the garage, Mariam, and I heard a sign. I heard a sign or a signal.
I felt a breeze.
I felt something. Yeah. And I feel like we may be spiritually married right now. So let's go upstairs.
Right. It's okay now. I felt
I felt the breeze.
I had the feeling. It's all good. Let's go.
But then we see the black screen and we see 3 weeks later, ... So we see, we first see a video of Danielle really distraught. I'm like, Curly, you're pregnant. You gotta, I hope you're taking care of yourself. Really distraught about Nathalia, that Nathalia is very, very upset, didn't expect all that stuff to happen. So their whole relationship is up in the air and Danielle is devastated. And Danielle's like, because I really loved her. And I'm like, you did?
Yeah. And
no,
then
you didn't.
No, she didn't like her that much. And then she said, I just want to have a sister, a friend. Again, Mariam can be your friend.
Yeah.
You can find friends, like just friends, just for you.
Yes.
Garrick doesn't have to be involved.
Yeah. Here's a crazy idea. Walk outside your house and go and like start making friends in your community. I don't know how small that. Yeah, I don't know how small that community is, but go find some people.
Yeah, there's plenty of other people there that she can become friends with.
Yeah, she's just lonely.
And you know what? She's just. I think didn't she meet Garrick when she was like 16 and he was a few years older? He was like 19 or something. And I mean, this guy has been like the only man she's ever been with, the only relationship she's ever had. And she just does whatever he wants. Like he's, you know what I mean? He has total control over her and she just co-signs everything he does, everything he wants, everything he thinks and feels. She really just cannot even think for herself.
No.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
And it's to the point now where, she doesn't have any friends. She has to put up with all this bullshit to, keep Garrick happy. And the one reason why I think she does it is so she can find a friend.
Yeah.
That Garrick approves of. But why does he have to have sex with the friend? Find your own friend.
But why does he have to have sex? Why do you have to have sex with all my friends?
No, it's sad.
It is.
It's honestly sad.
But then we see this thing that says, okay, 3 days later. So 3 days after that video, the producers get a video from Nathalia saying that, and this, I thought this was the best. This was the most
very well
fascinating.
Produced.
Yeah.
Go Nathalia.
Yeah. So basically, number one, that Nathalia says that she asked for them not to pursue any other women until she's there living with the family. And then apparently Garrick said, oh, you can trust me. We are not going to, do anything. We're not going to wait. We are not going to do anything until we get to the US. Now, of course, I'm sure Garrick's side of the story is kind of like, oh, well, we were going to look, but maybe we wouldn't commit to somebody until maybe she's there, but we can't possibly do that. Right. But I know for a fact, that guy in Mexico told her whatever it was that he felt like he needed to say to her to get her to keep going along with this. And he said to her, oh, no, we're not going to pursue anything.
And then they lied.
Miriam's just a friend of Danny's. Yeah. She's really just a friend of Danny's. Like, we're just kind of talking to her. It's for the show. It's really not a big deal. And then somehow Mariam starts showing up more and more and more, right? Like it was that. And then the other big one, which was Garrick demanded total submission to her. I was like, wait, what? Oh, she's like, for those reasons, we are no longer in a relationship. I was like, ooh, Nathalia.
Yeah, that was great.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So total submission. What do you think he was asking of her? Like, you can't, maybe he was just saying you should not be asking, you have no right to ask me these questions.
Right.
Or, why are you putting this pressure on me?
Right. Because, yeah, obviously she found out whatever lies they were telling her about Mariam, she found out they were lies. And also because that they were trying to downplay Mariam by saying, oh, this is just someone who reached out to Danielle on social media and they started talking and, became friends. And when I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Did Mariam ever confirm that? I think it was Danielle who said that. But anyway, good for her. And then, of course, these assholes, they're blaming her.
Of course
they're saying that she's she doesn't want to face her problems. She's not going to grow up or change. They're making this like this is all her fault.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's blaming her. He's such a liar. He talks out of both sides of his mouth. It's the same thing. It's exactly what was going on with the being on all of those dating profiles and what she caught him in Mexico with all of that. And then he plays his my little boy. I don't know how
I didn't know
how it all worked. Oh, don't be mad at me. That whole thing. And I think she was just like, wait a minute, we've been through this once. That's I'm not doing this with you.
Yeah, no, she barely forgave him for that.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, I don't need this.
Yeah. So she broke up with him like the next day. She sent in that video to the producers.
Sent the video
and then broke up.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm happy for Nathalia.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, I don't know who their next victim's going to be.
Oh, no, we do. We do know who their next victim
that's
is.
Right.
We do.
What am I talking about? Okay. How did I forget this? I gasped multiple times as this Chiron was unfolding.
Yes, yes. Well, first we learn, that I can't remember the order of things. Like so first we learned that the baby came, right?
Yeah, a couple months later, the baby's born. Leia, I think it's Leia.
Leia, Lily, Melissa. She came May 17th, 2023. So you are right. She just turned 1. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing. And then the next thing we learn is that Mariam, things didn't work out. After all of that, it didn't work out. No kidding.
Oh, shocking.
But guess what? They're back in Brazil. They are back. And he's met a new woman, Lorena.
Lorena?
Lorrana. Lorena? Anyway, so now he's baptized her. He baptized her and proposed to her in the same day, which I frighteningly think is maybe the same day he arrived.
And the same day they banged.
Yes, exactly. Boom, boom, boom.
Hurry up. We got a lot to do today.
And they're working on trying to bring her in from Brazil.
I know.
You know what? You have got to know that at that consulate or whatever that area is, the Merrifields are the talk of the Brazilian marriage license K1 visa office. They are.
They're applying in America. It's the American
both ends, consulate. Both sides, Brazil, America, both sides. It's the biggest talk of the town there.
They're like, wait a minute, because he probably had already filed the one for Nathalia.
Oh yeah, of course.
So this guy has a pending one. He had one like a couple years ago. Now he has a pending one. Now what? He withdraws that and he's like, can I change the name on that application?
So I just want to change the name. I'm going to change the birth date, but everything else is probably
is the same. Do you have some whiteout? Like, I can just change this real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to write it in pencil because I don't know how this Lorena thing is going to work out.
I need to lock this down.
I'm going to pencil her in, but it could be any woman in your country. Really. So
get ready.
Can I just get a blank? Can I just get a blank K1? And then you give it to me and then I'll fill it in once I find the person that's willing to actually do this. Unreal. Unreal. Of course they'll be back and we're going to get to meet this woman.
Also,
very soon.
Okay. So the baby was born a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So basically at some point in the last year, they managed to meet another person in Brazil and go down there.
Yes.
And do all this.
Mm-hmm.
And oh God,
I mean, no, our heads are about to explode. Can you imagine what Sam and Sam are thinking? They are like a third.
Right.
You know, they're freaking out.
They are just, they're just afraid for them, I'm sure. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And now Danielle with the new baby, I think is really locked in. I mean, at least with the kids being older, there's some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. If maybe she would wake up and realize like, hello, this isn't working for me, but
no. And Garrick wants to have kids with these, whoever he eventually gets to America.
Mm-hmm.
God, what if he gets this woman pregnant and she's in Brazil and, he was trying to get Nathalia pregnant.
Yeah.
How'd they think that was going to work? You're going to get her pregnant. There's no guarantee that she's even going to get to the United States. And then you have a pregnant woman and a child, and then a child in another country.
Mm-hmm.
This is so reckless and irresponsible.
It is very reckless.
It's not even funny. This man is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yes. He must be stopped.
We need to get alert. If they have not been alerted already, the Brazilian, whatever feminist foundation there is in in Brazil, they need to put out like a press release, a picture of him. So if you see this man, if you meet him on social media, please don't contact him, don't talk to him.
Maybe like his photo in the airport, coming and going, both places. Like, do not.
It needs to be on milk cartons.
Yes. I'm sorry, they won't be at the airport. It needs to be where these women will be. So wherever these women are that he's meeting,
right?
It has to be flash.
Well, they're young women, so I put them in like the local clubs and bars and restaurants. We need to alert anyone under 30 in Brazil.
That Garrick Merrifield's got 3 more positions open.
Alert them. If you see this man, run the other way.
Ay.
So then we get we get, even though they weren't on the show, we get an update about the Salahudins, who allegedly they have met some new woman named Ebony. Of course, they haven't met her yet. They're meeting her next month, so this might be another catfish.
Yes.
We don't know. And then the Sherwoods, they show them throwing axes.
Yes.
And they've been stood up and catfished.
Oh, no.
But are still seeking.
Yes. God, this is rough, man.
This is rough.
It is rough out there. It really seems to be. Man, to find somebody.
Well, TLC, keep working on this because things are changing quickly. Things are happening with Garrick and this new one. We need to know.
Yeah, much like with Sister Wives, TLC, they're moving too slow on this show. These shows, it's like this was more than a year ago. So we need to be seeing what's happening right now. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to wait a year from now to see what happens this year, right? I mean, are we going to? We're going to have to wait another year to see what happens in 2023 or something?
See what happens with Lorena. I mean, no, I need to know now.
Don't introduce this to me.
Oh, God.
Take her away. But yeah.
Well, that is a wrap. That is a wrap on season 5. Can't wait for season 6.
Yeah.
So next week, we start back with our Sister Wives Rewind. We are picking up where we left off. Season 6, episode 8 will be the first rewind episode next week, and we'll be doing that going forward. We also have a Patreon now that has a lot of content on it. If you like this podcast and you want more, for $8 a month, you get a bonus episode every week where we talk about things that come up in pop culture news and talk a little bit about our lives and ourselves. And then once a month, we have a bonus true crime episode. Right now, the last one we dropped was the Sins of the Parents. It's about the Crumbleys who were just sentenced to 15 years for their role in basically aiding and abetting their son who took a gun to school. And then we also do once a month, we do a Ask Us Anything. A new one just came out today where people can ask us anything. We actually do two really good questions. One was about law school and being a lawyer, and the other one was about finding a therapist and what the best way is to find a therapist. And so if you're interested in that, that's all there. And also, please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you can automatically get it every Tuesday and Thursday when episodes come out. And that really helps grow the podcast. It also helps if you leave a rating, 5-star rating, and a review if you want to. But even just clicking on the 5 stars really helps us. And okay, what else? We have social media.
Social media, though, we're in a transitional phase.
Yeah,
Psych Legal Pop on Instagram. We're working on it. It's up in the air.
We lost our
social media person.
She went on to much bigger things. So we're trying to find someone else who can do it because we don't know how to do it.
I tried to do it for a week and it was terrible. So yeah. But it's that, or you can just email us. If you need to reach us, you can just email us at psychlegalpoppodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. And you can always just go on. We're still on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Psych Legal Pop. You can just go on there and just send a message, or if you have any feedback.
Yep.
Okay. So,
all right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
When it comes to managing money, forget the hype and look at the results. Bill has $1 trillion of secure payments powering our bill pay tools. Instead of just moving money, Bill is powering the financial operations of nearly 500,000 customers. So stop the guesswork and start scaling with the proven choice. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started. And grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners, only 30 calories, just 5 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. That great Pepsi taste with even more to love. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.